Good morning, my crafty friends. It's Andrea from Prairie Step Paper Crafts. I hope you're having a good Saturday morning. There we go. Audio problem resolved. Today we're playing with sunflowers. I bet that you had thought that I was going to pull out the Celebrate Sunflower set, but I didn't. We're going to be using Jar of Flowers. It's been a long time since I pulled this one out to use. And I've also pulled out On the Horizon, and I think I'm going to use a couple of things out of this set, but I'm not really sure yet. So I'll play it by ear and see. I am definitely using this Thinking of You sentiment. I need to make some cards, and my sympathy cards and Thinking of You cards are running low. So that's what it's going to be today. I have got, let's see, what are we going to do? You know what we're going to do? And I actually left my white cardstock over there, which is fine. I always have some on my desk. I think we're going to use, we're using this. It's a piece from the In Good Taste Designer Series paper pack, a piece of basic white. Oh my goodness. Excuse me. Anything can happen on a live. Anyway, we are going to do some masking. We are going to do some coloring, and usually it's only stamps, ink, and paper, but I am bringing in our Jar of Flowers punch as well, and we're just going to use that for our mask. So for the mask, I am going to do the easy way with a Post-it note. So last time I used this punch, it decided it didn't want to work for me. I tried it out this morning, and it did work for me. So let's see if it still does. Oh, success! All right, you know what? I don't know what happened, but it just all of a sudden one day stopped working. So it went into a timeout for more than a few weeks. And this morning it didn't want to work. So I just gave it a good whack on my desk, and it seems to have solved the problem. And actually, if your punch ever sticks, so like if you're punching down and it doesn't work, direction from customer service at Stampin' Up! Is just to drop it on the floor. I wouldn't drop it on concrete, but dropping it on the floor, these are really durable. And actually, true story, one of the cats was in my craft room, and somehow they knocked one of my punches on the floor, and this plate came off. There's actually two little feeder feet, and all I had to do was push it back on, snap it at the corner, and it went back together. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. We do have sunshine today. It is beautiful. I don't know what the temperature is going to be, but we have a lot of snow has melted. I have a chair planter out in the yard that, I don't know, 2 or 3 days ago, I couldn't even see the back, and I can probably see about 10 to 12 inches of the top of it now. So hopefully spring is coming, and hopefully it's all good. So yeah, we are going to stamp. I'm probably going to cut it down to fit on this. I don't know. Which piece should we use? The lighter one or the darker one? I will put it here because that's probably going to be one of our last steps, and we're just going to get to stamping. So I do have, I was going to use this to stamp, but I think I might use one of my blends to color. All right. So we've got the sunflowers here, and I'll use the jar. It's been a while since I've done a mask. So, you know what? This is the part that I don't want to see. So I want my, I don't know if you can see it really well on the white. So I want it to kind of be over like this. So the part, I should have thought about this before. Obviously, I haven't had enough coffee yet today. So the light one. All right. Okay, we got to do a tester because my 3D brain is not 3D braining today. So we're going to do our first, oops, like this. Okay, and then, oh shoot, where did I put the mask? It's little, of course it, oh well, we'll just punch another one. Okay, seriously, brain, wake up. Oh, there it is. Everything has gone under the stamp sets this morning. All right. See, anything can happen. And it just goes to show if you haven't done something in a while. Okay, so if I do it that way, then the flowers will show. So I want to do it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And hope for the best. Okay. I should have watched the video that I did a while ago that shows me how to do this. Oh my goodness. Okay. There we go. Oops. All right, these leafy things face up. Okay, so we're going to do that. Okay, I'm just going to do a super rough cut of this. Line this up like that. I'm going to do just a tiny little bit of adhesive because I just cut off the sticky part. Of course I did. There we go. Oh my goodness. Wrong way. This is the way that we want it because we don't want it touching our flowers. I swear, I will wake up at some point this morning and it might actually look like I might have a clue at some point, but I wouldn't hold my breath actually. Okay, and then kind of center. There, it looks good. Now, with any luck at all, this is going to look like it's supposed to. Yay! Success! Oh my gosh, that was way more brain power than it needed to be today. Okay. And now we color. What have we got here? Light Native Navy. That's a little too dark, I think. Okay, Seaside Spray is a retired color, but I'm going to use it anyway. We've got Dark Daffodil Delight, Light So Saffron. Throw a little bit of Dark Pumpkin Pie in for good measure. Dark So Saffron. And you know what? I'm going to throw in a pink. And a little bit of what we got here. Mossy Meadow for the green. All right, let's color. As usual, I am using the finer point and I'm doing circles. I like the smaller tip just because it feels like I have more control. I can't have control over my life. I might as well have control over my coloring. Thanks, Mary Louise. Some days it's just a challenge to get the gray matter working. Good morning, Elaine. I hope you're having a good day too. I can't wait. We got a whole bunch of sunflower seeds. Just regular, big, tall. I think they grow up to, I don't know, 10 or 12 feet or something. And we've also got some regular ones. But we have deer. And although we don't really see much sign of the deer around our place, and we've got bunnies. And usually the bunnies decide that they're going to eat the sunflowers before they really have much of a chance to get big. I'm just kind of following the lines here with the dark. Oh, I forgot to turn the notifications off on my phone, so it just dinged. If you heard that, I'm sorry. But whoever it is can wait. And then we're going to just blend a little bit. I love alcohol markers. Now, when you're coloring with alcohol markers, you want to use Memento ink or any of the regular Stampin' Up! Ink pads because they're water-based and they don't bleed. If you're using StazOn, that would be for your wet medium, so the markers and the coloring pencils. If you're using it with if you're using coloring pencils with either a blender or a water painter, you want to make sure that you're not using a water-based ink because it will run. Okay, so we've got this. Now we're going to do these little buds in pink. I'm just going to dot. Wow, what color is this? Oh, real red. It's not pink, it's red. So we'll do that. We'll pull in some Flirty Flamingo for this guy down here. Well, that seems really bright this morning too. It's all good. Hey Vicki, I hope you had a good day and a good week last week. Oh, that's exciting. Oh, I'm just going to scroll down so I can keep seeing the comments. It's really awesome when it starts to melt, and it's just got that really nice springy feeling in the air, and hope that winter is going to end. I mean, we desperately did need to have our snowfall a lot heavier this year because it was so super dry. And there were so many animals and so many, well, everybody really suffered with not so much water. Hopefully this year will be a little bit better. I'm glad your computer is awake. I'm not quite awake, and the first part of this video proves it today. Oh my gosh. Huh. It would appear that my crumb cake is a little dry this morning. That's weird. I always store my markers horizontally. Yeah, that's the right word. Oh my gosh. To make sure that the ink is always dispersed evenly. But some days it just doesn't want to wake up. Actually, you know what? We're going to pull in purple for this guy in the back here. Which one is this? This is Dark Highland Heather. And I want red razzleberry. There we go. Do the cone a slightly different color than the petals. Sorry, those two colors look really similar today. I just wanted to make sure that I was grabbing the one that I actually wanted to use. Those cards a little bit more in depth than what I normally do on a Saturday morning. Oh, I should do a little hint of pink on this little guy here too. That's the thing about coloring. You just kind of go with the flow, see where it takes you. And more often than not, when I am coloring, I always seem to miss something. So it's not a big deal to go back and rejig. All right. So that's all of our littler bits done. I'll go over this with, change up the color just slightly. I love layering the colors with the blends too, because it does give you a little bit of a different look. All right, I'm going to pull in some, oops, wrong end. Pull in some pumpkin pie. I don't know, when you're coloring, do you do all of one color? Or do you do one thing and then move on? For me, sometimes it depends on my mood. When I'm blending, I definitely do one color at a time, especially if I'm doing with my blender pens, I'll do all of the same color family so that I don't have to clean it off after every single one. Oh, before I forget, I had, I saw yesterday and I posted in the group, I don't know if you saw it, there is a sale starting on the 23rd, I think. It's the last chance sale. So with the stuff in there, once it's gone, it's gone. So if you want anything, particularly the in colors, they tend to go really, really quickly. So I would suggest that if you want something out of that, that you place your order sooner rather than later, because I would hate for you guys to be disappointed. Now, if you do miss something, you can always message me and see if I've got it in my stash, because generally, not everything, but some of the things in my stash, if they do go into the sale, sometimes I'm willing to part with it. There's a few things out of this catalog that I love that will probably stay in my stash for a bit. I'm just gonna, this is the Dark Daffodil Delight. But yeah, if there is something that you want, I would suggest sooner rather than later. And I don't have the list yet, but as soon as I do, I will post it and let you guys know. And I'll tell you too, as things are selling out, what is selling out. I love the way that the new website, well, it's not new anymore, but I love on the website that when you're ordering stuff, you can see, oh, I'm not sure how Vicky's comment popped up, but that's kind of cool. Learned something new today. When you're ordering stuff, you can take a peek and it'll say that items are running low. So that's kind of beneficial too if you're looking. It doesn't tell you how many are left, but it does certainly tell you if they are going out of stock. Oh, allergies are driving me a little nuts today. All right. Wrong end. I'm gonna wrap it up with some So Saffron and blend in all of our colors here. So some of the deadlines too for the, April classes are coming up. We've got the bundle next month. Is going to be Waves of the Ocean, which I absolutely love. I'm going to be playing with that a little bit this week, I think. And then I'm doing a For the Girls class. The stamp set that I'm going to be using is the In the Moment, the one with the ladies, with the one who's looking over the edge of the deck at the water. There's one with the lady with the dog. What's the other one? She's reading a book. I love that stamp set. I'm completely stumped on what the third image is now. Oh, one, she's sitting at a window seat. That one we got sort of as a preview for our convention in November, I think it was. And honestly, I don't think I've ever loved a stamp set more or used the entire stamp set. Like, I've used everything in it multiple times. I think it's the messages that are so powerful. Just kind of relax, take time for yourself. All right. I think I'm content with how this is turning out. I'm going to do a little... Sorry, I'm just looking around at my desk to see what I've got. I'm just going to trim this down. Not quite. Yeah, that's better. To fussy cut or not to fussy cut? That is the question. Yeah, you know what? I'm not really feeling fussy cutting today. But I'll tell you what I am going to do. The trio punch was on my desk, so we're going to punch it. I do like this punch too. I love rounded corners, but I haven't done them for a while. But it also has this really pretty filigree type pattern and also a ribbon hole punch. Let's see, what else are we going to do? So we're going to get... I feel like... All right, does this need bling? I think it does. Ooh. It does need bling. And the bling that it needs is going to be some pearls. But the pearls we're going to color blue. I love using the blends to color, because then it perfectly matches your project. And then I thought I had some ribbon. Don't say I said the R word out loud, because yeah, I think we need some of that too. All right, this is getting way more complex than stamps, ink, and paper. But I was watching a live from another Stampin' Up! Buddy this week, and she said trust the paper. So I'm going to kind of pull that in a little bit, and we're going to do trust the instinct. So this is going to give it a little bit of a, variegated is not the right word, but sort of a distressed look. This is the frayed ribbon. And again, you can color the ribbon. I'm not sure what this one is made out of. And I haven't tried this particular ribbon, but I have colored ribbon with water and re-inker and kind of, just give myself an idea. I might try some tie-dye later. So yeah, re-inker with a little bit of water. You can color it with the watercolor markers, but with that you got to be careful because if it gets wet at all, it will stain whatever it touches. We're going to do this the entire size of the card. Nah. And then we're going to score our card base at 4 1/4, like we usually do. Oh, you know what? I think we're going to add some Stella to the water too. And you don't need to worry about anything pulling because we've stamped with the blends. The Memento can run, so just be a little bit careful of that. But, oh, I really like how this turned out. I don't know if you can catch it. Maybe if I moved it into the light a little bit more, you can see the shimmer and shine a bit. So now we assemble. Actually, I'm going to cut our ribbon. And we're just going to tape it down and tuck it around. So the back side is a little bit lighter than the front side. Actually, I think I like that side a little bit better. And then we're just going to tape and tuck. Perfect. Now I do like to add, if I've got something on the edges that is a little bit bulkier, I do like to add a second layer or a second line of adhesive just to make sure that it's going to stay stuck really, really well. Okay, well, that's weird. Oh, I'll just trim it. It's fine. Was not quite precise when I trimmed that base, but it's all good. And I was going to use dimensionals. I don't know. Yeah, I'll use dimensionals. Do some mini dimensionals here. So what's everybody got going on for the weekend? This guy and get this guy going. I'm going to add a little bit more putty to come out. So when I use my take your pick tool, I wait for the putty to start coming out the end, and then I'll just twist it back off so that it stops. It's not such a big deal when it's cool in my craft room, But because I've got this gigantic window, and it does get warm in here in the summertime, it's really important. I did that once upon a time and learned my lesson the hard way because it was all over my desk when I came back. Okay, well, what the heck? So this one came right off the backing. So we'll try. There we go. 1, 2. And it only takes a few seconds for the blends to dry. You know what? I don't like that spacing. So sometimes when something doesn't work exactly the way that you want, just add a little bit of bling. So it is 8, which is technically an even, well, not technically, it is an even number. But there's 5 here and 3 there. So I'm calling it good. And then we're going to bring in our Thinking of You sentiment. We're going to put the sticker on. I thought I did that already, but I did not. Okay, so I've peeled the sticker off of my stamp. I have peeled the backing off of here. And then all I'm going to do is line up my stamp onto the sticker and press. Ever since I saw this, I've been doing it because before I never ever stuck stickers on anything. And it's really quite amazing how well it works. So I'm just tapping the adhesive off onto my fuzzy pant leg just because it tends to stick really, really well. And I haven't done it, but I've heard stories where the sticker has stuck to the block and people have had a really hard time getting it off. Now, if that ever does happen to you that you can't get it off the block, all you need to do is pry your finger between the stamp and the block, or if you have a take your pick tool, use your spatula end and just gently pry it so that you can flip it off and grab it off the other side. Because if you ever do accidentally pull off your foam from your stamp, Stampin' Up! Use that as user error and it's not covered. And I think I'm going to do this just right. I don't know what I was thinking because I do not usually ever assemble my card and then put the sentiment on. Well, let's see what's going to happen today. Fingers crossed. Yay! Okay, well that worked well. I was fully expecting a disaster. But I really kind of like how it turned out. It's a little bit more complicated than Sip Saturdays usually are, but it's not overly complex. Now, if you are a beginning stamper and any of this is kind of a little intimidating, stamping this, even on colored cardstock, is absolutely stunning. It would be lovely using Very Vanilla. You could stamp it on pretty much any color that you wanted to. And really, you can even just use the flower by itself. But it is a bundle with the flower, jar of flowers and the punch. And it's a lot of fun to play with. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to wrap this up now. If you have any questions, as always, you know where to find me. And if you have something in your stash that you want to know how to use, by all means, please let me know. I am more than happy to help out if I do have it in my stash as well. I can go ahead and show you. And also, Throwback Thursday is something new I think we're into our second week. So if you have something older that's retired that you may be having a hard time finding inspiration for online, let me know that as well. And I will absolutely, if I have it, um, I will give you some ideas for that as well. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend and enjoy the sunshine.